Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Daily Drop-In. This is our morning show that we're able to be here every single Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern over on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And of course, as many of you are already actively listening there, we also publish these episodes after the live over at Teach Better Talk Podcast. It is Monday, September 20th. We are thrilled to have you here. We're starting off the week with a brand new theme. Jeff Gargis is in the house. You know it's going to be good. So please go fill up your coffee. Get mentally ready to get started for your day. We got some positivity, some good banter headed your way. And then we will get started to all celebrate the incredible Monday that we have ahead of us. We'll see you in a minute. Hey everyone, good morning. Jeff Gargis. How you doing, boss?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Monday to you.
Cheers to you. Good morning. I know I was going to ask you coffee, and look at you. You got your coffee
So, full transparency, it's not coffee. It's Gatorade, but I wanted to have a coffee cup to cheers you with, so I just poured it in a coffee cup.
So, first of all, I love that your appreciation for a coffee cup, but Gatorade, why Gatorade this morning and not coffee?
Just already had a cup of coffee. Like I worked out. I just feel like coffee I'll probably go from this to another cup of coffee, but I had to go to Gatorade for a little bit. So, and if anybody's wondering, because I know already like people's minds are just going, it's yellow.
It's yellow. Okay, I get it. So wait, you worked out this morning. That's a huge deal. Tell us about that. We've been wanting to be fully updated on
it. Was like this. I did this. I did a lot of this, and then I did a lot of this, and I think I might have like stretched or something. That was it. Yes.
I really enjoy anybody who's tuning in live getting to see that whole experience. I also love that there's people that are just listening. And guys, you just imagine what that movement looks like.
Imagine whatever you want right there. You pick it right there. Yes. Yes.
And Debbie, good morning. Adam and Debbie, so good to see you guys. Well, Jeff, I think it's great that you worked out.
Right? Did you get a workout in this morning? It's like but it's not even fair because it's an hour earlier for you there. So it's like even crazier to get up. But I got up pretty early and was quick to jump out of bed because I had a very full bed because our son has had a couple nightmares. So he was in our bed and so was the dog. And instead of sleeping at the foot of the bed like a normal dog, he slept with us. So there's 4 of us across our bed. So I like this much space.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I
just feel like that's parent life, right? Like that's just
it is, but it's Monday. I'm excited to be here. Excited to see people in the comments.
Oh, it's going to be so good. No, it's so funny because as I was thinking through like starting this week, I'm a little sleepy this morning. I probably should have gotten up early and gotten moving faster, but instead, for all of you here, we're all just going to wake up and get moving together. So it's really
nice. Love it.
Yeah, it's good. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a good weekend. Yeah.
Got
some stuff. No. Got some stuff. Just work around the house. Jacqueline and I put together one of those like where you fill the bags with leaves to make the spider. I was cleaning leaves up and she had that idea, so we did that. And my neighbor made some really good pulled pork, so that was fun to do that. The Browns won.
Yeah.
Good Sunday. It's a good Sunday.
That's awesome. Yeah, in the comments, we'd love to hear what was like one of the major highlights of your weekend. I know we have a lot of people trickling in saying good morning. Good to see all of you. Welcome to the Daily Drop-In. We'd love to hear what the fun highlight of the weekend was. That'd be awesome.
How about you, Ray? Good weekend, or did you just like sit around all weekend just waiting for this morning to hang out with me?
Yes, I've actually been sitting right here waiting for the Daily Drop-In to go live. I've been sitting here for 2 days, so thanks for showing up. We appreciate it.
It's great. Glad you're here.
No, to be honest, I was able to do a bunch this weekend, kind of all focused on resetting, right? Like you're cleaning the house, you're cleaning the sheets, I went to the coffee shop for a few hours on Saturday to try and get some stuff done. We have a really big week this week that I didn't realize how many kind of like events were going on. So I actually feel like most of my weekend was prepping for this week. Do you know what I mean?
I bet. Yeah, this is an exciting week. Can we share what's coming? Is that right now? That's not right now.
No, I
Is
think
that right
we
now?
should. I do, because we'll mention it later today, and we'll obviously, if you guys
Yeah.
have questions, throw them in the comments. We'll answer. But I feel like right off the bat, you guys need to know. So like Tuesday's a big day. Jeff, what's going on Tuesday?
Tomorrow we are celebrating Joshua Stamper releasing his book, his first book. And so that's exciting. He's going to be doing stuff all day long. We get to go live with him tomorrow night. Make sure I say this right, 9 o'clock Eastern time, right? 9 o'clock Eastern.
8 Central, yep.
8 Central to celebrate the release of his book. We're just so excited for him, so proud of him. He's worked a long time on this book. It was a long time coming. And so we're super excited to celebrate with him. So that's gonna be fun.
We do need you all, please, to bring a drink if you are coming to that live. Like, we would love to have you in the comments. We'll be streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch just like normal. But you need to have something to cheers with, because we're doing a family global cheers together, and we need you all together. So that will be really, really fun. 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. That's a big deal. And then what other stuff do we have going on this week? I know there's more. Wednesday we have a new course coming out.
A new course coming out by you.
Yes.
You knew something that you did.
No, I'm thinking I actually have other things going on this week, but I was like, which one is Teach Better related that we should be talking about? The new course, yes. So if you are subscribed, by the way, to our Teach Better events calendar, that is on there. So you probably were notified earlier this weekend that a new course is coming out on Wednesday, but the course is free. So even if you're not a member of the Academy, it's still an opportunity to kind of explore. A lot of it was inspired by conversations on the Daily Drop-In. So it's kind of fun that we were able to weave in some conversations we've had here and build it into a course, which would be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be super. And that's all about taking a new idea you have and implementing it into your classroom. Or actually, honestly, you could take the guidance that Rae takes you through this course and apply it to putting a new idea in place into your classroom, into your building, into your district, or even honestly into your life. So I think it's going to be, it's really good for being a free course. Like, it's packed with some value. So
I mean, we tried, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's always fun when we release new courses.
The team that works on the Academy, I feel like, is so large. Like, there's so many people outside of just the author that have a hand in that course getting launched. And I mean, everyone's pretty smart, so it should be a good course. Shout out to Dave and Andrea and all the people. I mean, Jeff, obviously you and I were involved in the course, but so fun to have everybody. Rachel was involved, just really good people excited to share the message. So super fun.
Super excited.
Yeah, so that's coming out Wednesday. And then I actually have a fundraiser I'm going to for an education nonprofit that I'm excited to support on Thursday in the Chicagoland area. That's all about getting supplies for students. So they start now, and the money that they're going to raise this week goes into how they fund school supplies for next school year, which is good.
Cool. Okay. Can you share more? Can we shout out the nonprofit? That sounds like some good work.
I will go get all the information, especially if you're in the Chicagoland area. Message me. I don't have the name of it on hand, but
follow Rae on Instagram. I'm sure it'll be on her stories.
Yes, you know what, the most important.
It's usually safe.
Is that, yes, of course, the fundraiser is important, but as you know, my focus right at the moment, not to say this is the focus, but my focus at the moment is figuring out what dress to wear. Because
I'm going to bet $20. It's black.
Oh, come on, that's so
just saying. Is your shirt black or is it green? Because it blends perfectly with the wall, but I can't tell if it's just like because the wall is bringing out a different shade or something, or what.
I feel like I'm awkwardly like a floating head. I maybe blend it my wall too much. So no.
Well, your chair is taking care of it, so you don't look. It doesn't look awkward at all. If you got rid of the chair and we're just standing there, we'd be like, "What's going on right now?"
Yeah,
but
I am thinking I'm going to be wearing black dress, nude shoes. Anybody in the comments that wants to give me some advice? Yeah, it's like a business cocktail attire.
Okay.
So dress
like in person, like an in-person event.
Oh yeah, in person.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful venue. They're going to raise a ton of money for it's all about like back to school supplies fundraising.
Yeah, that's great.
But I'm excited to go and represent the Teach Better team, right? I mean, how fun is it to be able to go to a Chicago event, represent our group? So
love it. It's awesome.
Anything else going on this week? There's just a lot of celebration. Oh, P.S. by the by, yes, Joshua's book's coming out Tuesday, but he's joining us on Daily Drop-In on Thursday. So we'll actually get to ask him all the really challenging questions then.
So tomorrow night's celebration. Thursday's put him on the hot seat, grill him with all the details. Gotcha.
Well, I really wanted to tell us all the secrets of the book. I know that the book exists, but it's super thick. The cover is gorgeous. There's a lot of contributors. I just want to be okay, what's actually in there?
Because then you don't even have to read it, right? You just get it right from Josh, and you'll be like, oh, done. I just read the book.
I won't lie. I feel like I have to buy the book because...
Well, you can still buy it to support Josh, but that would be the ultimate in-person audiobook. And I know you love audiobooks, so but it would be the Cliff Notes or the Josh Notes, if you will, of the book.
Josh is so humble that you got it's hard to know how big of a deal this is for him, because when you talk to him one-on-one, you get it. But when you're interviewing him, he's just happy to share, no big deal, cool, calm, and collected. But he's worked on this for years. I mean, this is a big moment from tomorrow. I'm super stoked. So, anywho, should be fun. All right. Should we do I don't know, good news and stuff?
Yeah, let's get into some good news. I'm excited about that.
Okay, there's 95 holidays today too. So
I know, that's what I'm excited about.
Get ready to celebrate. Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Daily Drop-In. We're thrilled to have you here. We are starting off our morning, Monday morning, September 20th, with some good news, some celebrations. Jeff, I know we discussed there are some goofy holidays today, and there is one serious holiday, but we also joked that there seems to be kind of a serious holiday all the time right now because it's all about the harvest, fall is coming. A lot of religious groups, a lot of communities have some sort of autumn holiday. I feel like those are starting now that we're at the end of September. Oh my God, is it the end of September? I shouldn't have said it that way. The end?
We're just past the middle. So we're approaching the end. That's for sure. We're definitely approaching the end. But yeah, so we're definitely we're there. We're there.
I mean, September 20th. Yeah, I mean, there's 10 more days in this month, and then we're in October. Yeah, you were talking about doing a spider. I'm it's too early to set up.
That was my thing, because the kids start talking. Jacqueline's been talking about the other day. She's like, I can't believe it's almost Halloween. I'm it's not almost Halloween. I guess we're only about 40 days out. So okay, so it's not too far from Halloween.
I did see somebody do a 100-day countdown to Christmas, and I was like, hold up, we have Halloween, Thanksgiving, and a slew of other holidays.
I don't know if she's watching this morning, but she might be working. But if Brittany Wolf is here, she's probably already decorating. If you know Brittany from our Speakers Network, Brittany is probably already decorated. She lives for Christmas. However, I could see her being very strict and can't go until after Thanksgiving, and then it's no holds barred. But I wouldn't be surprised necessarily.
Just to add context to all of our friends tuning in, if you're not familiar with Brittany Wolf, we refer to her all the time as the person that we would want to be her dog if we had which she pampers her animals so well.
Yes.
Oh, and she's also a killer speaker on the Speakers Network. That too, whatever.
And she has the best husband ever. So we'd all want to be just married to Scott.
I've heard that.
He's a good dude.
You know what? I just want to be Brittany's best friend and move into her house just as a human. Maybe that's really what
Sorry.
Can we start with celebrations, holidays first?
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, because I'm really. You didn't tell me any of the holidays. You just said there was a bunch, so I'm pretty excited right now.
So here's the deal. Do you want me to give you all of them, or do I just pick 2? You know what I mean?
I'm going to say let's pick 2, and then I will decide from there whether we want you to keep going or not.
Okay, so major 2 holidays it's National Pepperoni Day, Pepperoni Pizza Day. So every person should go get some pepperoni pizza.
That's good. I have some pepperoni rolls upstairs. Does that count? Does that qualify, or is it a pepperoni pizza?
It does say Pepperoni Pizza Day. So
I don't know if that works.
Heat them up and then roll them out. Maybe that
would unroll the pepperoni rolls.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
The other one is that it's National Queso Day.
Oh, so then you got to put some queso on your pepperoni pizza.
That sounds really gross.
It does, but you know what? It's the holidays. I don't make the rules.
Yeah, I don't know. Does this match me too? I think I'm wearing the same color in all.
No, that's clearly different, or at least it looks different here. Ooh, it looks less different when you're close, but it looks more blue. But it's not, is it?
No, it's exactly the same color.
Yeah, maybe it is. Anyway.
All right. Notable, there's a Jewish holiday today. Just again, that these are all celebrating all new things right now. Sukkot, which is all about the harvest, is today. It's German World Children's Day, which is a super cool holiday. I was reading about this morning, and thankfully, guys, this National Today website goes through all the descriptions of these holidays and actually gives suggestions on how to celebrate, which I really like. But it says German World Children's Day is on September 20th. Is the official Children's Day of Germany. One of 2 Children's Days recognized in Germany every single year. Ways to celebrate. It goes through how the history started in 1954. And it just says that like children are celebrated for the day. So lots of good child experience.
I just think it's interesting when a country decides it's world's whatever holiday.
Yeah, German World Children's Day is what it says.
Maybe they're celebrating children of the world. Like they don't just limit it to German children. Anyway, whatever. Children are awesome. We can celebrate.
Shall we keep going? I feel like there's some good ones.
Give us a couple more.
Okay, like National Fried Rice Day. That's important.
That is important. That's very important for some reason.
We're making a whole meal here, guys. You got your
no kidding.
Pizza, your queso, your fried rice. These are not things I would normally eat together, but why not?
Today we are.
And you know what? Like National Punch Day is also today. So you got your
so you're making some punch. Yep, gotcha.
It's also National String Cheese Day, so you can put some string cheese with your queso. It's a lot of cheese. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a lot of cheese, but you know.
And then I thought this was cool. I've never heard of this holiday. Respect for the Aged Day. So it's our elders.
Like Respect Your Elders Day?
Our elders, yeah.
Isn't that every day? Aren't we supposed to do that all the time?
Yes, we should do that every single day. Absolutely.
As I'm getting older, I'm starting to get more excited about that stuff.
I will say, with all those holidays, yes, there's a bunch of them. I feel like those specifically were worth noting because being food related, those are easy ones to bring into your classroom later today, bring into school later today, and spark some conversation, regardless of which one kind of like really hit you at your core. There's plenty to celebrate. I like that you can bring that to your classroom and say, it's National Pepperoni Day. What's your favorite pizza? Or, like go into that.
Yeah. Stuff. Well, I think there's some cool ways you can dig into just digging into like, let's research and learn the history, like how did this become a holiday, right? And then you get into how does a holiday created and when does it qualify as national versus state versus, how do you get it so the world recognizes it? How do you get Rae to mention your holiday on Daily Drop? And like, how does that happen, right?
No, but it's funny you say that. I really struggle with that. Like we're in week 7 of Daily Drop-In, starting this back up every single Monday through Friday.
7 weeks.
And I really struggled with like national versus world because our community is global. I mean, we have a ton of people even right now in the comments that don't live in the US. They're in Canada or they live in Mexico, or we have plenty of friends that are, live in Europe or Poland. And I love that our Teach Better family extends that far, but it always feels a little weird to celebrate a national when it's only our US family celebrating. It's great to have other people being able to celebrate all the holidays. So
yeah, I agree. Super cool.
I really think that a cool conversation would be bringing up kind of like the elder focus of the day. That could be good stories of grandparents, good stories of our families. I like that. That's cool.
Well, I think anytime you bring it, you keep sparking other ideas that makes it so cool because it opens up so many other conversations. Like you just said, talking like that leads into now let's talk about families, which can go a million different ways. But also just thinking about like the different holidays, like and you think about these unique ones, you talk about national, world, whatever. Like you can now talk to your kids about what does your family celebrate? What are some unique traditions, right? Not just such an easy little entry point to start a billion different conversations with the kids, regardless of what age they are, too. By the way, which I love it. So,
well, we're happy you guys are here to celebrate with us. And again, I know I this website we have no affiliation with it, but National Today, I really like that it lists all these like goofy and serious holidays out. You can click on them. You can read about what the holiday is, the history of it. Usually has some recommendations on how to celebrate. I just feel like it's a good entry point for any of you that are looking for an easy resource to celebrate with students. We also have a good news article for us today, Jeff. This one has to do with a woman who pays for 60 strangers' meals at a Pennsylvania diner. So this was last week. And an anonymous diner decided to treat everybody to their lunch at this restaurant in Pennsylvania. So a newly reopened country diner was packed during a lunch rush. Sorry about that. And the manager was approached by a random citizen and asked if they could pay for everyone's bill. I waited on this lady, and it was time for her to pay her bill, and she came up to the register and said she wanted to pay for every single person in the entire place. I'm like, are you sure? And she said, absolutely. So the anonymous diner paid $350 to cover all the customers' meals. She also tipped the servers $100 each. And so,
wow, what a generous person, just an act. That's awesome.
You know, I love those stories, and sometimes those stories just seem so out of the box, right? Somebody chose to do that. You know, they had to be really financially stable to be able to do that. You also, it's really an unknown. Like if there's a busy restaurant, you have no idea what that bill is going to look like. So these people that choose to do that are just unbelievable givers. I love that mentality. But can we talk really quick? Like, how do you do that on a small scale, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can give and celebrate others without necessarily shelling out a few $100s.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little ways. It's I think less about shelling out money or covering costs or anything like that. It's looking for what's a little way that I can make someone smile today.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's as simple as asking someone how they're doing. How's your day? Even if it's someone that like I think about, I don't know why this one's popping in my head, but someone at a restaurant, like a server or someone at a fast food joint that you're going through, or someone, gas station attendant who probably doesn't get asked that necessarily genuinely that often, right? A lot of people just kind of do their thing. It's a transaction. So look for an opportunity to just ask them and like genuinely ask them and care about what they have to say, or looking for little things. It's not, you don't always have to go drop money, although that's always a really lovely gesture. Obviously, if we've all heard about the paying for the car behind you and stuff like that. But again, like you mentioned, like you have to be okay with the fact that like, I don't know what that's going to be and I've got to pay for it, but there's other little ways that you can do it.
I like those two suggestions because one, you have a lot of control over. I do have to say the paying for the person behind you in a drive-thru, I like because you do have some sort of parameter. Like you were already going to grab breakfast or grab a coffee or whatever you're in the drive-through for. And so there is some like range that you can kind of predict with the car behind you.
A little, yeah, sure. It's gonna be unlikely that it's gonna be a massive bill at a McDonald's or something, but
right. And you can also ask and like only pay half of it, or if it's unrealistic, right? So any little bit helps. I love that stuff. I just saw somebody on Instagram stories this weekend that said that the person in front of her paid for her coffee, and she just like it made her whole day.
It does. And so there's another example of that. So I know some people watching might not know that I have a background in the food service industry, and we had someone come through, and it started trying. I can't remember. I wish I could remember like how long it went. It was a while. Where it was, they didn't pay for the food. They asked if they could leave a little note. And they had just like a really little note that just says, hey, I hope you have an awesome day today. It was nothing creepy. It was actually really sweet. And we passed it to the next car. And they're like, oh, that's so sweet. And they're smiling at that. And it was one of the girls working the window goes, well, do you want to leave a note for the next car? And like, so it was kind of her that got it going. And so then it was less, I think it was less, like, because that can get a little creepy if you do that, but like a little, not as bad when we were saying like, well, do you want to leave a note for them? And we were just pulling out the receipt paper and having them write notes. So like, it was just it was similar in the sense of like, just a little something to make you smile. And so like, they pull up to the next one and she was like, oh, hey, the car in front of you wanted you to have this. And it'd say like, had the best day ever, or just smiley faces, whatever. And like, it was crazy. The people's faces lighting up was the same as if you had paid for their food. It was just, but it's a different way to do it. So there's a lot of little ways you can do it. I think we forget how often we walk past each other. And then I don't know why, especially in the United States, primarily, like we're trained to like look away, look down, don't make eye contact. So the littlest things like making eye contact, smiling, waving, saying hello, saying, hey, hope you have an awesome day. Like, can just completely change the trajectory of someone's day. So don't don't doubt the power of that. I guess what I'm saying. So
I will say I love a good handwritten note. I wouldn't think that's creepy at all. I think that's the coolest story ever. But on the flip side, I think that this is a good, like, it kind of goes into our week, right? Our week this week is kind of a repeat of a theme. I know we're going to get into that in just a second, but it's a repeat of a theme because in the first few weeks of Daily Drop-In, we focused a lot on this theme, and we're kind of taking an intentional moment this week to say, how's it going? What have you done? What goals did you set that you didn't get to?
Yeah.
You got busy. And in some sense, this is the same type of conversation. We've talked about how to be generous to one another. We've talked about how important those minute moments are that we can choose to really put some intentionality behind and make someone's day outstanding. So now is a good intentional moment to say, okay, it's Monday, it's mid-September. I've, been in the grind for the last few weeks. For a lot of people, it's even been longer than that. And how am I doing keeping up these small little moments that I know are impactful? And can I do them better? Can I add a little refresh to it? So I love that stuff. Should we get into this week's theme?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, before we do, we have to acknowledge we have a ton of people in the comments that we haven't celebrated yet. It's so good to see all of you. Karen, it's good to see you. Namili, it's good to see you. Brianne Fennell's here. It's always good when you can start your morning with these people. So thanks for jumping in, guys. Love Megan Wells. Got someone over on Twitch, which I love. And of course, Brianne is celebrating also the incredible opportunity we have to clear the list for those of you who are in the classroom and you have your list, or if you're in the community and you're looking for a way to give back to teachers, clear the list is an incredible opportunity to do that. So Brianne, thank you for mentioning that. So important. Love it. Jeff, should we get into some brainstorm bank?
Let's do it. Let's get in the bank.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome back to Daily Drop-In. We're live here on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, and of course, if you can listen afterwards on the Teach Better Talk podcast as well. We are into our brainstorm bank where we take questions from you. You can go to teachbetter.com/brainstormbank and drop any questions you have in there so we can address them with all of our amazing guests every morning. Or, of course, if you're watching live, you can drop in the comments, and that works just as well. So, Rae, you mentioned that we are sort of going back to something that we talked about earlier on and doing an intentional check-in on how things are going, what are we doing, how do we reflect on this? And that is reflecting on our communication plan for the year. And we talked about this. Was it week 1 or week 2? I think it was week 2. Mm-hmm. And we talked about there were so many ideas on how to think through your communication plan and how to adjust it and why it's important. And we talked about consistency and clarity and transparency, all that type of stuff. So I think now, like you mentioned, it's such a great time for us to reflect back on what did we put in place, what maybe haven't we got in place, why not, what's working, what's not working, are we chatting with our stakeholders, what kind of feedback are we getting, how are things going? And I think really, really, really key here is it's okay to change and knowing that and reflecting on that. So I'd love to throw the first question at you, if you don't mind. Curious because I know you as a teacher, you did videos for your parents, you did videos for students, you did lots of communication. It was a big piece for you, and we talked about that previously. How often throughout your year do you revamp that or change that, or at least reflect on it and consider changing? And is this typically the length of time you give it? Is it every couple of weeks? Like, how does that look for you as you look throughout the year?
Yeah, anytime we're in the classroom, you just have a lot of things come in. Like sometimes teaching feels like dodgeball, where you're constantly dug in and you're trying to get some strategy together. And I don't know that there's a perfect time to intentionally pause and say, hey, how's this going? I feel like teachers in many respects do this all the stinking time, whether it's in between a plan period, at the end of the school day, in the morning, at the end of a long week. I mean, we are constantly, that's what makes teachers so amazing, constantly just reevaluating, reassessing. But as you're doing that, there's a million things to reassess. So some things, just so happen to go by the wayside. And we felt like on the Teach Better team that communication was essential to talk about. So I don't know that this is the perfect time, but I know that every single time we can is the right time. So thinking through whether you've been in school for 2 weeks, I know we were talking to a few of our friends that are in their second week, right? Brad just started back, Liv just started back. Those are members our Teach Better family that are literally entering into maybe their second or third week of school, then at that point is a really great time. But we also have friends, especially those on the Teach Better team, who've been in school since the end of July, that now they're much farther into their year in comparison. And this is still a good time to reevaluate the goals that you had for communication, whether it be how you're communicating or the consistency in which you're communicating. All of those small little pieces add to a good experience, not only for our students, but for our stakeholders.
And when you do that from your experience, what are some of the measurables or the metrics that you look at to tell you or to analyze your communication plan on whether or not that is effectively working or not? Like, what are the things that were most important to you?
You know me and those.
I'm putting you on the spot here. Okay, that's just what's happening.
No, I love it, but Jeff, you and I have a lot of conversation about how we all need measurables. How are we actually determining if what we're doing is working? And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but as an educator, that wasn't always something that I looked at or something that I was taught to look at unless it was content focused, right? I knew you needed an objective and a target, a measurable for, does my students understand this idea? But we don't always get into like all the other things. Like, what's your measurable to prove that you're building relationships successfully or communicating effectively? So, okay, let's go through some basics. So I think some of it is getting feedback from your parents, like how are they feeling? That type of data really tells you about if your communication is helping accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. So if you're communicating so that parents feel up to date, have you asked them if they're feeling up to date? Do they feel like that's such a silly measurable that's so easy for us to gather? Yeah. I think another element is I really love doing videos, like you mentioned. And I love those videos because they get to hear my tone. And I feel like I could always say more and give them more than just an email, because the text is just limited. And I really liked that when I put them on YouTube, I could see how many views I had. So they didn't have to be signed into YouTube. You just were able to see how many people were watching the video. And when you have 150 kids, if you got close to that 100 mark, you were in a good spot. You knew where you were communicating with as many people as you could, versus if you put out a video and you don't have it on YouTube, like let's say you upload it to a Google Drive and you can't see those views, for all you know, nobody watched it or only 5 parents watched it. And it's important, while that data is not perfect, right? You could have had a parent that opened it on 2 different, places, and that counts as 2. But the point is that if you're close to that number, you can kind of get an idea of the parents that you've missed and the parents that you've touched. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's key. And I think one piece you touched on, like, the purpose. I can't remember how you said it with triggered in my brain, like making sure that one of the first steps is understanding that you understand what your purpose is. What are you trying to do with the communication? It's for the parents, but what is it? Just information? Or are you trying to trigger any sort of action, stuff like that? But I love the fact that, Rae, you're focused on that, because we think about like the old school way of sending home papers, and I hear teachers talk about it all the time. Like, they get crinkled up and thrown in the trash before they get it. They stay in the book bag for the entire semester, and they're crinkled up and stuff. So like the YouTube, that's such a simple piece that's just built into that platform. It's a platform that everyone knows how to get to. Everyone understands how to play. It's easy. There's other reasons that you mentioned that you say more, right? And they also get to feel, they get to hear your expression in your voice. They get to see you. They just have a better connection altogether. So it serves a bunch of different purposes, but then it's a really easy metric to get, because like you said, you can look and see where I'm at. And yes, of course, it's not perfect because someone can watch it 10 times they want to, but you're going to have an idea of. And if it's at 0, you're going to have a really clear idea that something's not working, right?
Well, and I like that's true. Like, if it's at 0, then that means like, oh, not only did nobody see it, but maybe something was wrong with what I sent out, right? Like, at least if you have one person that watched it, you can be like, oh, the link worked. Like, there's just little moments of data that you're constantly able to reflect. So I actually want to focus more, if you don't mind, if we could dive in deeper to
let's do that.
Making sure your measurable is working to help you towards your goal. But the other thing I want to mention really quick, if you're thinking about doing videos, like, make them short and sweet. I know that's intimidating for people. And after the year we've had, guys, maybe, hopefully not as many of you are intimidated by being on camera, but the reality is like short, sweet, to the point. Pretend like you're talking to a parent that you bumped into at the hall, right? Give them your name, smile, give them the few tidbits that they need, and then say goodbye and be done, right? Nothing fancy, no editing, none of that stuff. So I know we've talked about that in the past. And of course, if you guys have questions, please feel free to use the comments so that we can answer those questions. But Jeff, will you speak a little bit more to the concept of your measurable actually giving you the information you want? Because that is something that I am learning from you all the stinking time.
Well, I think we've kind of touched on it. I think it goes to what is the goal of this particular piece of communication. So if we use the video example, if people viewing it 100 times out of 150, whatever, is a good measurable, if that's what depending on what your goals are. But that's not a good measurable if the purpose of the video was, that might not be a good number. If the purpose of your video was to get them to do something and you chose video as a way you were going to communicate that ask or that direction, great if they watched it, but are they taking the action, right? So then it's a matter of, maybe 100 people watch it, which is great. That means they're getting it. They're jumping in there, but we got 5 people that completed the survey that was linked to it or was directed to it, whatever it might be, which means, okay, there's a miscommunication somewhere in there where I'm not giving them proper directions. Is it because the link's broken? Is it because it's difficult to figure out? Is it because there's a question that's not allowing them to finish, whatever it might be? Or is it because something's happened in a video where they're like, oh, I don't really have to, you know what I mean? So I think understanding what your measurable is the first piece. Like, what am I actually trying to get done out of this video or out of this piece of communication, whatever it might be, whether it's phone call, text, email, paper sent home, balloons sent to the door, whatever the heck you're doing, right? I was trying to think of something crazy. I couldn't think of a better one. Carrier pigeon. The key is understand what is that measurable and can you measure it and how will we measure it? And then what I think also think through, like, what am I hoping to get? And obviously past experience, you have to kind of adjust that. But I think the key is my measurable measuring the thing that I want to happen. Because again, views are great as a good measurable, but not if what I'm actually hoping to happen is for them to send something back or for them to do something or them to view a link or whatever it might be. So I think the key is understanding what your actual measurable is, what the actual action is.
I don't think I always understood how many layers of communication exist. And even just the concept of a measurable, you're talking about there's no bad measurable. Data is good data to have. But if it's not actually getting you towards the end result you want, then it's just something to be able to reflect on. So I love your ability to think through, views are great. I'm able to prove that 100 of my parents saw the information or heard the information. But if they're not doing the action, that's only one layer of what I'm trying to achieve. It's just a weird concept.
I'm so glad you mentioned layers too, because I was thinking, that's a lot. But even if there wasn't another action, it was simply informative. If there's no other, you have data that someone watched it, you don't know whether they actually received the point you were trying to make, or if they liked it, or just now they could comment and you could get into that, and but that's data as well. So but what are you measuring? If you're just measuring the views, if you're trying to get feedback from them, even if it's in the form of that, or if you're just trying to understand, are they receiving this the right way? There's other pieces of data you could get that help you now further communicate and help you, adjust things in your class as well. So,
and teachers, we all know this. Sometimes I think we don't create those parallel bridges to the work that we do. We know if we teach students how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals, giving them the test is not actually enough data. We would need to then evaluate the test, give them some sort of feedback, and then see their progression. So we are constantly, as educators, doing formative assessments to evaluate if what we're, kind of working towards is being effective. That layering process of needing it to be back and forth, needing to provide feedback, needing to collect the right information so you know how to move forward is literally the same in communication. It just feels different because it's not academic.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I love it. And your whole layers and there's so many different measurables that are in there. It's the same thing when you're assessing your kids, because there's a lot of data that you're extracting from that is not just did they understand the concept, but was the assessment that I created actually aligned? Was it confusing? Was it effective? Did I collect the right information? There's so many things that go into it. And the same as with communication is there's so many variables that can affect it that you have a lot to assess to see if you're getting what you need to happen.
Well, and in some regard, not to be dramatic, but in some regard, me doing a video and sending it out to parents and basing it on views is kind of the same as me standing in front of the classroom and delivering a moment of instruction and just assuming that because they were sitting there, they got it. Right? Like
That's
that
it.
is
Yeah.
what we're talking about here, friends. And we know, especially in the Teach Better community, standing in front of 30 pairs of eyes and talking to them is not typically the best way to ensure that they understood and have mastery of whatever you were sharing with them. And yet with our communication, more often than not, that's kind of where we stop.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, sometimes we stop even before that because we're like, I'm going to send home 30 papers, but I don't even know if it actually got to their eyes and ears and stuff. And I think that's a great point about the about lecturing like that, because you don't know, right, until there's further action. There's an additional measurable taken where you're actually assessing them, or whatever it might be. So that's
what's
interesting.
the equivalent of giving out like a newsletter home on a paper form and hoping it gets home? It's kind of like being in a classroom and having a pile of papers and throwing it up in the air and being like, grab one.
That's probably pretty accurate.
That's funny. Anyway, well, yeah, I'm excited this week with all of the guests that we have. I know we're going to get into kind of like a preview of the week soon of actually who's joining us, but I just think that this is going to be an intentional week to do some reflection, and maybe it'll be full of fun ideas. I think there's always opportunities to take away those tactical strategies, but hopefully also moments to just reflect. And today specifically, being able to focus on, hey, is the data I'm collecting giving me the information I need? It's just a good reflective point. Gets us going for making sure that as we continue forward, we're being a little bit better every single day.
Which, by the way, we are not here to just speak to you and get views. We really love to hear in the comments if you can let us know, are you receiving this information? Same with you. Go to teachbetter.com/brainstormbank. Submit a question there will allow us another measurable that we can then better communicate with you. So it works everywhere. It makes sense.
I love it.
So anyway, I love it.
I know there's a lot of measurables for daily drop-ins specifically. For me, one of my favorite ones is when people like are consuming, whether they're here live or they are listening after the fact, and they like message me about something we talked about. Like for me, daily drop-ins all about being here, sharing positivity, like really fostering our community, and hopefully giving others a strategy that they find valuable. And it's always good to hear when somebody is like utilizing one of those pieces,
Yes. So keep those coming too. That's a great form of communication. So I love it. Rae, I know we already sort of touched on some of the awesomeness that's going on this week, but are you ready? Do you want to dive into getting a preview of what's happening with our Teach Better family this week?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Let's do that. So I know that we are talking about a lot going on this week, but some of the fun things that we're able to highlight are also the guests that are joining Daily Drop-In every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Jeff, I really kind of like starting my Mondays off with you. I know that I'm not supposed to say that because we have this brotherly sister relationship where people think we pick on each other. But honestly, I really love starting our week all together. I don't know. It's kind of a good vibe.
It is. I think it works. It works. I am excited this was recorded though, so that's good.
Oh.
No take backsies.
No take.
Just saying.
Well, some other friends joining us this week will be just as exciting, but they're going to add way more value. The conversation will be more entertaining. They'll be able to provide so much more insight because Monday is a waste. You might as well just not even Monday.
God, a 180 on that one. Jeez. All right.
But this week will be cool. Okay, so tomorrow I have Evan Schwartz joining us, and it's interesting. I don't know him very well. I'm very, very excited to have him join us. He was somebody that I connected with on Twitter, and I believe, and I apologize that I'm kind of speaking this only about 70% sure, but he started a program called Beluga, and this group specifically fosters bringing videos and curated content that is vetted into classrooms. And so I love that he was kind of bringing in this new way to communicate, not only with parents, but also our students on how to communicate different ideas and concepts. I talked to him literally 2 months ago, and it's finally here that he signed up for Daily Drop-In, so I'm really excited. So he's going to be awesome on Tuesdays. On Wednesday, we have the one and only Debbie Tannenbaum joining us. She's been a part of the Teach Better family forever. She's an ambassador. Jeff, she's like literally involved in so many different ways.
She's actually part of our Edupreneur Mastermind, and Debbie lately has just been killing it. I feel like every conference in the world is getting Debbie on their list to go speak. So she's doing awesome. Super exciting.
Well, and she's all about like technology and trying to make sure that the tools that we're using are best for our students. I think that will add a really interesting reflective moment for our communication practices this week.
Yeah.
And also it'll just be fun to have like a Teach Better member that is constantly growing. Debbie is constantly asking questions and wanting to share her advice. And I love people that are dedicated to trying to help others for no other reason than just trying to be helpful. And I really think Debbie's going to bring that.
And Debbie's in a unique position with her position in her school. She works with both students and teachers. So she's going to that's different communication, right? Different ears. It's going into different conversations. So that'll be interesting.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, as we mentioned, Joshua Stamper is joining us on Thursday. We'll obviously be talking about his book, but his book is all about aspiring leaders and work that you can do as you are continuously striving to be better in your leadership roles. And so I'm excited to add that layer of communication, obviously, in addition to celebrating his new book coming out tomorrow, because that will be a huge piece of how do you communicate as a leader to others, but also how do you enhance your communication to continue to support your work to become a stronger leader. So there will be some good layers on that one. And then obviously every single Friday we end with the one and only Brad Hughes will be here on Friday to tie up our conversation, that perfect bow. So it'll be a great week. Some other notable things, Jeff, I know we mentioned this earlier, but Tuesday tomorrow, we have Joshua Stamper's book launching. Will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you should join us for Daily Drop-In in the morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, and then join us really, really late before you go to bed at 9 p.m. Eastern. Please bring your favorite beverage. We are raising a glass to celebrate Joshua Stamper. We have some surprises and some really, really good stuff in store for that moment where we are all bringing our family together. So make sure you join us Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we also mentioned, Jeff, we got that new course coming out. So free course available to all of you in the Academy.
Exciting stuff. It's a good week. It's an exciting week.
It's a good week. Yeah, I'm excited. So I know that we are at the tail end of our Daily Drop-In conversation. Thank you to those of you who joined us this morning. Even if you're tuning in later, we love that you're here and that we're able to be in any way some small part of your day, your experience, getting going. We hope you enjoy your last sip of coffee, but for Jeff, it's Gatorade this morning. Jeff, how's the Gatorade?
It's yellow.
It's yellow. Blech. I don't like yellow Gatorade.
You don't like yellow. Yours is blue, right? You like blue?
I like blue. There's a lot of colors I like. Yellow's fine. It's really the color. I like the taste. I just don't like
the color.
It's a weird yellow. It's like a neon-y yellow usually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, but I'm looking at my cup. It's not super dark, bright in here, and I'm like, it's kind of glowing. Like it's a little bit. It might be toxic. I don't know.
No, it's not like this. Like this is like a solid yellow.
No, it's a bright yellow for sure.
No, yeah. It's
like if I like, you can. Yeah. It's a pretty bright yellow.
Yeah, it's like a greeny yellow. Not my style.
It's a little bit. It's flirting with Teach Better Green.
Oh,
like it's flirting with it. Just saying.
All right, guys, we are getting out of here. We hope you have an incredible rest of your day. This is going to be the best Monday ever. So get excited for all of the work that you're not only going to be able to do today, but the impact that you're going to have when you do that incredible work. Thank you for joining our Daily Drop-In. We hope you enjoy the rest of everything headed your way. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, not only for Daily Drop-In, but to celebrate Josh and everything else that Tuesday has in store. So thanks, guys. We'll see you later.